Very good morning and welcome to Breakfast News. In the next 1 hour, we'll get you all the latest news and the updates. We have different segments also from national to across the globe, sports stories and weather updates. Correspondents will also be joining us with the latest updates from across India. So it's a power-packed 1 hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. First up, the headlines. Union Cabinet approves MSP for Kharif crops for marketing season 2021-2022. Recommends highest absolute increase in MSP over the previous year for sesame, tuar and urad. Prime Minister says the step will help increase farmers' incomes and improve their standard of living. Indian Railways to get 4G spectrum for communication, replacing the current 2G spectrum to facilitate faster communication channels. Government extends subsidy benefits under the amended New Investment Policy 2012 to Ramagundam Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited. Daily cases of COVID in the country dropped below 1 lakh for second consecutive day. Active cases less than 13 lakh. Number of vaccine doses administered cross 24 crore mark. PM Narendra Modi congratulates IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay and IISc Bengaluru for achieving top 200 position in QS World University Rankings 2022. Assures efforts are underway to ensure more universities and institutions of India scale global excellence and support intellectual prowess among the youth. Heavy rain, strong winds lash Mumbai and surrounding areas. 11 people die as residential building collapses in Malad West. AMD issues red alert to Mumbai, Palghar, Thane and Raigad in Maharashtra. 15 NDRF teams deployed in the state to face any eventualities. In international news, US President Joe Biden arrives in UK to attend G7 summit in his first foreign trip after assuming office. Says he would deliver a clear message to Russian President Vladimir Putin when they meet next week. In sports, Rafael Nadal defeats Argentine Diego Schwartzman to reach the semi-finals of French Open men's singles. Women's singles semi-finals today, men's semi-final matches tomorrow. Well, let's start with national stories. The Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved the increase in the minimum support prices for all mandated Kharif crops for marketing season 2021 and 2022. And the increase in MSP for Kharif crops is aimed to increase the expected returns to farmers over their cost of production.
The Narendra Modi-led government at the centre is committed for the welfare of farmers and has time and again taken decisions for the benefit of the farmers and the farming community. In a bid to increase the farmers' income, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs on Wednesday approved an increase in minimum support prices (MSP) for various Kharif crops or the summer-sown crops for marketing season 2021-22. Briefing reporters in New Delhi after the cabinet meeting, Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said that the return to farmers over their cost of production is estimated to be at least 50%.
मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं किसानों को कि किसान बंधु अच्छी मेहनत कर रहे हैं, उसके परिणाम स्वरूप उत्पादन और उत्पादकता भी बढ़ रही है और अगर टोटल में हम देखेंगे तो कुल मिला के लागत पर 62% की वृद्धि इस बार की जो निर्णय है उनमें हो रही है.
The government has increased the MSP of Kharif crops to ensure remunerative prices to the farmers. Over the years, concerted efforts of the government to increase farmers' income have yielded results. The Agriculture Minister informed more rice and wheat have been purchased over the previous Kharif marketing season. Similarly, more pulses and oil seeds have been purchased over the previous Kharif marketing season. More than 82,000 crore rupees have been transferred to the accounts of farmers. Subsidy on a packet of DAP fertilizers has been increased to 1,200 rupees from the earlier 500 rupees. Narendra Singh Tomar affirmed that MSP, the rate at which government buys grains from farmers, will remain to be in effect.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी देश को आश्वस्त किया था कि एमएसपी है और एमएसपी आगे भी रहेगी। उस वक्तव्य के अनुसार लगातार रबी और खरीफ के एमएसपी घोषित की जा रही है। सरकार गेहूं और धान का उपार्जन एफसीआई के माध्यम से कर रही है। दलहन और तिलहन का जो उपार्जन है वो भारत सरकार अपनी अन्य एजेंसियों के माध्यम से कर रही है। इसलिए इसमें किसी को भी कहीं भ्रम रखने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। एमएसपी चल रही है, एमएसपी बढ़ रही है, एमएसपी पर खरीद भी बढ़ रही है।
The centre has hiked paddy MSP by 72 rupees to 1,940 rupees per quintal for 2021-22 crop year. The highest absolute increase in MSP over the previous year of 452 rupees per quintal has been recommended for sesame. Ture and urad have seen an absolute increase in MSP of 300 rupees per quintal each over last year. The cabinet also took an important decision regarding extension of applicability of new investment policy for fertilizer production in India. The government is mulling to revive the closed urea units of Fertilizers Corporation of India Limited in order to achieve self-sufficiency in urea sector. This will help to achieve 12.7 lakh metric tons of indigenous urea production in the country every year. Bureau Report, DD India.
Meanwhile, in a bid to provide long-term evolution-based mobile train radio communication for the railways, the cabinet also approved the proposal for allotment of 5 MHz spectrum in 700 MHz frequency band to the Indian Railways. And the purpose of the LTE for Indian Railways is to provide secure and reliable voice, video and data communication services for operational safety and security applications. The 5 MHz spectrum allotted in 700 MHz frequency band for railways, long-term evolution-based mobile train radio communication to enable secure and reliable voice, video and data communication services, improve operational safety and security applications, and to be used for modern signaling and train protection systems and ensure seamless communication between loco pilots and guards, will enable Internet of Things-based remote asset monitoring of coaches and also enable live video feed of CCTV cameras in train coaches. So Railways has also approved an indigenously developed ATP, which is automatic train protection system, which will help in avoiding train collisions, thereby reducing accidents and ensuring passenger safety, and it will attract multinational industries to set up manufacturing units to fulfill the Make in India mission and generate employment. Moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to Twitter welcoming the decisions taken by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. He complimented the decision taken to increase the MSP of Kharif crops, and he said, and I quote, "The Union Cabinet has approved an increase in the minimum support price for Kharif crops for the benefit of the farmers. This will help increase farmers' incomes and will also improve their standard of living." Further, the Prime Minister also hailed the allotment of 5 MHz spectrum in 700 MHz frequency band to Indian Railways. This is what he tweeted. Today's cabinet decision augurs well for the railways, particularly in terms of furthering safety, security and efficiency, unquote. Well, talking about Mumbai now, in Maharashtra, search and rescue operation continues in new collector compound, Malad West of Mumbai, where residential structures collapsed last night. These are the visuals that we are showing you. 11 people have been reported dead so far, while at least 7 are injured. A portion of second and third floors of the 3-story building collapsed on the adjacent 1-story hut. And following the incident, residents from 3 nearby buildings were also evacuated as structures were not in a good condition.
अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट है। कल रात को 11:15 साढ़े 11 के करीबन ये इंसिडेंट यहाँ हुआ है। एक ग्राउंड प्लस 2 की एक इमारत थी, वो जो गिर गई है, वो गिरते समय वो सामने वाली बिल्डिंग पे गिर गई। उसमें कल रात से 18 लोगों को रेस्क्यू किया गया वहाँ से। उसमें से अभी तो सुबह तक 11 लोगों की मौत हो गई है।
And Union Minister Piyush Goyal has expressed grief over loss of lives in the building collapse incident. In a tweet, he said, "Deeply saddened by the loss of lives due to building collapse in Mumbai, I extend my condolences to the affected families. May God give them the strength to bear this pain and wish speedy recovery of the injured." And heavy rains continue to lash parts of Mumbai and its suburbs today, causing flooding on roads and rail tracks and disrupting suburban train services as the southwest monsoon arrived in the city. The IMD has issued a red alert for Mumbai and neighbouring Thane, Palghar and Raigad districts, warning of very heavy to extremely heavy rainfall at isolated places there. The waterlogging caused by the monsoon season's first rains prompted the traffic police to shut 4 subways and forced motorists to abandon their vehicles on roads. As rains intensified in Mumbai and other coastal districts of Maharashtra, NDRF has deployed 5th Battalion to face any issues in the view of incessant rains. As per the information shared by the agency, 15 teams have been deployed in Thane, Raigad, Palghar, Ratnagiri, Mumbai and Sindhudurg districts. Right, my colleague Shishir Shelar has more information on this. He is joining us live from Mumbai. Good morning, Shishir. First of all, a building has collapsed in Mumbai. We want to know from you, was it in a dilapidated condition? The condition of the building was not good, and continuous rain, incessant rains is one of the reasons. And tell us about the rescue process also which is underway.
Well, absolutely. First of all, looking at these numbers, the death toll has now increased to almost 11. People have lost their life in this incident, and nearly 15 to 17 people have been rescued so far. The current the operation is still going on the site here, as we have seen here that Mumbai is witnessing the incessant rain since yesterday, which causing a little delay in the entire rescue operation. But currently, with the information that we've received from the spot, is that currently the fire brigade and apart from the other officials, the BMC officials is also working round the clock and try to rescue people here. They try to remove the debris from the site here. There could be possibilities for many people must have been stuck inside, but still it is not clear. So far as I told you that nearly 11 people have been, dead bodies have been recovered from this entire debris here. Well, obviously, reason behind this collapse is not unknown yet, but as many buildings dangerous position here in Mumbai, and before every monsoon, the local authority, the BMC, issued notice to all those dangerous structures and tell them to evacuate here. As far as this building is concerned, whether it was a dangerous structure or not, it is not clear yet. But what we got to know is that the other structure nearby to this building may cause some serious injuries here. That's the reason some of the buildings nearby areas have been told to evacuate as soon as possible. So obviously the routine procedure that the BMC does here, even during last monsoon also we have reported many incidences of such buildings have collapsed during monsoon season. And that's quite a worrisome factor for the local authority, local government here, is that to evacuate people from those buildings well in advance, tell them that this is a dangerous structure and to move to some other places. Well, looking at this particular incident itself, now what we got to know is that the officials have already evacuated the people from the other structure, the other ground plus 3 structure, which is just situated to this building. People have already been shifted to other places, what we got to know. And currently, the rescue operation of this particular building is still going on.
But Shishir, like you said, was the warning not issued before monsoons by the BMC? Is it their negligence because the building was in a poor condition, and like you said, 3 other buildings nearby are in dangerous condition?
Well, absolutely. What the information that is received as far as the dangerous, the dilapidated structures are concerned, there's one more building just attached to this building, which have been identified and have been told by the authorities that people should move to some other places. That's what the information that we received. But you rightly said, this is a routine procedure of the BMC's work here before monsoon. They actually issued notice to all those dilapidated structures here. People who are living in the structures, in those buildings, have been told to shift to other places well in advance, but sometimes people don't pay heed to this information by the authority here, and this kind of situation happens. But this particular building and this particular incident, we haven't got any information so far whether this building comes under dilapidated structure or not. The authority, that's how this structure has collapsed here. Soon we'll get to know the exact reason behind it. But now the current focus is to save the life of people stuck there and to complete the rescue operation as soon as possible because of the rains, continuous rain in Mumbai. Even yesterday night also, we have seen here the operation actually got delayed a little bit.
Right, Shishir, last question before we wind up here with you. Give us an update on the rain situation, also continuous rains in Mumbai. The Met Department has issued a red alert also and orange alert for Mumbai for the next 4 days.
Well, absolutely. Yesterday, Mumbai witnessed the first shower of the monsoon of this season. In spite of that, we have seen here that at many places, the waterlogging was common phenomena here, even during the first time also, and it actually squashed all the claims made by the BMC that they have completed their pre-monsoon work, which includes the cleaning of nalas, sanitization, cleaning of rivers, which flow the water into the sea here. So all these claims made by the BMC yesterday, we have seen here that all those claims have been washed away in just first monsoon year. Well, obviously, yesterday, as far as some of the low-lying areas are concerned, because the low-lying areas is actually vulnerable areas during the monsoon where most of the waterlogging happens here, be it the central Mumbai region, the Kurla, Matunga, Sion, Dadar. These are the area. In western region, we have Andheri, Santa Cruz area. Even in the harbour region, the Vashi, Mankur, these are the areas where these are the low-lying areas where we see the waterlogging during every monsoon. Even yesterday, due to incessant rain, day before yesterday, we have seen here that though all these areas were submerged in water, ultimately affected people also were travelling on this road here. We have seen a huge traffic jam on the road yesterday. Even the rail services were disrupted. Yesterday, the Central Railway has issued a message that the service between the Kurla and CST have been halted here. And almost till evening, the services were not on time here. That's why people face for a lot of problem here. Though, as I told you, that BMC has already said that they already reviewing this entire situation here. Yesterday, Chief Minister already had a meeting with the disaster management and the BMC authorities that what needs to be done. But this is about the Mumbai I'm talking about. Apart from the other areas from Mumbai, for example, the Konkan region also, the Ratnagiri, Raigad, Chandrapur, these are the areas down for yesterday. And for the next 3 days, the IMD has already issued a warning to them.
Right.
And that's the reason the local authorities went into action along with the NDRF. Nearly 15 teams of NDRF. The 5 battalion NDRF team have been deployed to this region across the coastal area of Maharashtra. And for the next 3 days, it's quite important for Mumbai, quite crucial for Mumbai. And that's the reason even the local authority have been saying people, if it is not required, if it is not necessary, it's not urgent, then do not move out of the house. Even yesterday also this notice has been issued here. Today we have seen the rain has stopped here, but we have seen here that the rains at some part of Mumbai, including the Mumbai area and the western region of the Mumbai, witnessing the rain since yesterday night. So obviously the next 3 days is quite crucial for Mumbaikars.
Absolutely. Next few days are very, very crucial, and like our correspondent Shishir Salar is saying, that we need to stay put if you are in Mumbai or the neighbouring states in Maharashtra because of the COVID situation also and the incessant rains too. Thank you, Shishir, for giving us your vital inputs. Moving on, India also continues to cross milestones as far as the vaccination drive is concerned. 24.27 crore vaccine doses have been administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive. Out of this, more than 33.79 lakh people were vaccinated in the last 24 hours. And according to the Indian Council of Medical Research, 37 crore 21 lakh 98,253 samples have been tested so far. Out of this, 20 lakh 4,690 samples were tested yesterday. In Madhya Pradesh, after the reduction in the fresh cases of the coronavirus infection, life is now coming back on track, and after nearly 2 months, all shops and markets opened in the capital Bhopal today. Meanwhile, the district administration had organized 39 camps yesterday to ensure 100% vaccination of shopkeepers and their staff before opening of markets. And in another development, the purchase of moong and urad dal at support price is starting from June 15 in the state following the COVID protocol. Nagaland now. Nagaland government has announced the extension of the ongoing statewide lockdown till 18th June. And this is the third lockdown extension in the state. The state first went into total lockdown on 14th May, which was again extended to 11th June. And additional relaxations include permission to open shops and business establishments between 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Shops selling stationeries, mobile phones and computer accessories, garages for automobile repairing and shops selling vehicle spare parts are allowed to open on alternate days as determined by the DTFs. And Gujarat now, as number of COVID cases continue to show decline, states have started to ease lockdown restrictions. Gujarat government has allowed hotels, restaurants, gyms and religious places to reopen with certain restrictions, issuing unlock guidelines. The state government said the political and other kinds of programs will also happen with limited attendance during the period from 11 June to June 26th. Meanwhile, libraries can function with 50% capacity, gardens can open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and gyms can operate with 50% capacity. Along with this, dine-in will be allowed at restaurants with 50% capacity only from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and shops can open between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. However, night curfew will continue to remain imposed from 9 p.m. till 6 a.m. And 3 Indian universities have achieved top 200 positions in QS World University Rankings 2022. IISc Bengaluru ranked number 1 in the world for research. QS Quacquarelli Simmons, Global Higher Education Analyst, has released the 18th edition of the world's international university rankings. IIT Bombay has secured 177th rank, IIT Delhi 185th rank and IISc Bengaluru has secured 186th rank in universities rankings. And congratulating these institutions, Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said that India is taking a leap in the field of education and research and is emerging as a Vishwa Guru. He said that initiatives such as National Education Policy 2020 and Institutes of Eminence are instrumental in ranking our colleges and institutes globally. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated all 3 universities who achieved top 200 positions in the world ranking. In a tweet, he said, this is what he said: congratulations to IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi. Efforts are underway to ensure more universities and institutions of India scale global excellence and support intellectual prowess among the youth. The newly elected president of the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Abdullah Shahid, has elected India's deputy permanent representatives to the United Nations, Nagaraj Naidu, as the chef of the cabinet. In a first for the Maldives, Foreign Minister Abdullah Shahid was elected the president of the United Nations General Assembly for 2021-2022 on Monday, winning 143 votes, or nearly 3/4 of the 191 countries that voted in the annual election. Moving further, the first solar eclipse of this year will take place today. The celestial event comes just days after the year's first super blood moon and total lunar eclipse, which took place on May 26th. And as per the map published by NASA, the solar eclipse will be visible in India but only from Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. And according to NASA, annular solar eclipses appear every 18 months somewhere on Earth and they are visible only a few minutes, unlike lunar eclipses. A total solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between Earth and Sun and blocks the light of the Sun. But when the moon is too far from Earth, it looks smaller and does not block the entire view of the Sun. This creates what looks like a ring around the moon. Right, from our national stories to our next segment, which is Across the Globe. US President Joe Biden withdrew a series of executive orders that sought to ban new downloads of WeChat and TikTok and ordered a Commerce Department review of security concerns posed by those apps. The administration of former President Donald Trump had attempted to block new users from downloading the apps and ban other technical transactions that Chinese-owned TikTok and WeChat both said would effectively block the apps used in the United States. The court blocked those orders, which never took effect. A White House official said that a separate U.S. national security review of TikTok launched in late 2019 remains ongoing. In other international news, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on Wednesday issued a directive initiating several major Department of Defense-wide efforts to address the security challenges posed by China as the United States' #1 pacing challenge. According to a statement by the Department of Defense, these initiatives, some of which will remain classified, are designed to focus on departmental processes and procedures and better help department leaders contribute to whole-of-government efforts to address the challenge from China. The initiatives will complement the multifaceted work on China policy of departments, agencies and the White House. According to the statement, many initiatives are intended to streamline and strengthen cooperation with U.S. allies and partners, particularly in the Indo-Pacific. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden arrived in the UK on Wednesday for his first trip abroad since taking office. During his 8-day-long Europe visit, Biden will attend a G7 leaders meeting. The meeting is expected to be dominated by vaccine diplomacy and an initiative for rebuilding infrastructure in the developing world. The G7 agenda also includes climate change and trade. The US President will also meet the Queen at Windsor Castle and join his first NATO summit as President during his Europe tour. At the end of his visit, Biden is due to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Geneva. And US President Joe Biden has launched his first official overseas trip with a warning to Russia. And speaking at the start of an 8-day visit to Europe, Biden said the United States was not seeking conflict with Russia but would respond in a robust and meaningful way. If the Russian government engaged in harmful activities, Biden made clear his intention to strengthen ties with US allies following strained relations under the Trump administration. Both the leaders will hold talks on 16th of this month in Geneva.
We're not seeking conflict with Russia. We want a stable, predictable relationship. Our two nations share incredible responsibilities, and among them, ensuring strategic stability and upholding arms control agreements. I take that responsibility seriously. But I've been clear, the United States will respond in a robust and meaningful way when the Russian government engages in harmful activities.
From US to France now, France is willing to contribute efforts towards a lasting peace between Israel and Palestinians. President Emmanuel Macron told a US-based Jewish advocacy group that recent events demonstrate the necessity for a decisive boost to the negotiations to establish fair and long-lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians. In May, tensions in Jerusalem led Hamas to fire rockets towards the holy city. Israel responded with airstrikes, and the most serious cross-border fighting with Hamas in years raged for 11 days before a fragile ceasefire was reached. During the fighting last month, Macron spoke to both the Israeli and Palestinian leaders and said he worked with Egypt and Jordan on the ceasefire. And a Russian court has outlawed groups linked to jailed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny after declaring them extremist. The move that bans his allies from elections will further strain US-Russia ties before a closely watched summit Wednesday's ruling has delivered a final hammer blow to a vast political network that Navalny built up over many years to try to challenge the veteran Russian leader's grip on power. A spokesperson for the Moscow prosecutor's office said that he was pleased with the ruling, which recognized illegal street rallies led by Navalny's allies. The authorities now have the formal power to jail activists and freeze their bank accounts if they continue their activities. Britain now amid rising tensions between Ukraine and Russia. A British air defense destroyer arrived at Bosphorus Strait on Wednesday and docked at Saraburnu port off the Turkey coast. Dutch frigate HNL MS Everston also sailed through Dardanelles Strait and anchored at Saraburnu port. In April, Vladimir Putin escalated fears of a possible Russian invasion by ordering the blockade of the strategically important Kerch Strait. Russian warships moved into position and controlled the strait, cutting off sea access to Ukraine's southeastern coastline and eastern Crimea. The Kremlin confirmed all foreign and Ukrainian military vessels would be forbidden to sail from the Black Sea into the Sea of Azov for the next 6 months, although commercial vessels would not be affected. The blockade was announced a day after President Joe Biden cancelled plans to send 2 American destroyers to the Black Sea for fear of increasing tensions. And also, French President Emmanuel Macron called for fair taxation of digital giants ahead of meeting with the newly appointed chief of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in Paris. The group of 7 powers, which includes France, had agreed on Saturday to support a minimum rate of at least 15% in talks underway at the OECD, based on rewriting the rules of cross-border taxation among 139 countries. Macron said he wished for a swift and ambitious conclusion to the negotiations. Meanwhile, OECD Secretary General Matthias Cordman said that post-COVID-19 economic recovery remains the global priority at the moment. Next news now. Peruvian socialist Pedro Castillo held a wafer-thin lead in a polarized presidential election on Wednesday, with a battle brewing over the result that could spark weeks of political wrangling, market volatility and deeper divisions. Castillo, who has rattled the Andean nation's political elite, had 50.2% with 99.8% of votes processed, just a 0.4 percentage point ahead of right-wing Keiko Fujimori. Meanwhile, Fujimori has raised unsubstantiated allegations that supporters of Castillo tried to steal votes. However, the leftist party has strongly denied the claim. Fujimori also plans to launch a legal battle over thousands of contested votes as the vote count nears the end. Meanwhile, supporters of presidential candidates Pedro Castillo and Keiko Fujimori took to the streets of Lima on Wednesday to demand that electoral authorities release the final results of the presidential runoff. And coming to Spain now, the nightlife reopening has once again come to a halt after being announced just a week back. Spain's health ministry scrapped a nationwide plan to gradually reopen nightlife following widespread complaints from regional authorities, and the plan, which would have allowed areas with low infection rates to open nightclubs until 3 a.m. drew wrath of several regions and a legal challenge from Madrid's conservative leader Isabel Díaz Ayuso. Since a nationwide state of emergency expired a month ago, restrictions on travel and business have eased. Transmission has fallen steadily as vaccination rates have picked up. Meanwhile, health chiefs from Spain's 17 regions unanimously approved a revised version of the document in which the rules are reduced to non-binding guidelines. And currently, Spain stands 11th in the global COVID tally with over 37,15,000 cases of the virus and a death toll past 80,000. And Argentina's President Alberto Fernandez and Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said that they supported waiving patent protections on COVID-19 vaccines. The move will allow a rapid distribution of the jabs in the poorest countries. Spanish Prime Minister visited Buenos Aires to help strengthen economic and political ties with the South American country. Fernandes thanked Sanchez for Spain's support to Argentina in the debt negotiation with the International Monetary Fund. Spain and Argentina signed agreements related to the management of the pandemic and the defense of human rights. Haiti is battling its first serious outbreak of COVID-19 and the country is yet to receive its first batch of the vaccines. As the coronavirus hit countries across the Americas hard for more than a year, Haiti had reported relatively few cases and deaths. Last month, infections and fatalities rose more than fivefold following the arrival of the new variants. Authorities mandated renewed precautions like masks in public places, instituted an overnight curfew and suspended year-end graduation ceremonies. Haiti will receive its first batch of 130,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines through the World Health Organization's COVAX vaccination scheme by next week. The International Olympic Committee has claimed the number of athletes set to compete at Tokyo 2020 who have either been vaccinated or are in the process of being inoculated is now over and above 80%. The International Olympic Committee is trying its best to raise the number of vaccinated athletes with just over a month to go before the start of the Games. The Japanese capital is set to host Tokyo 2020 Olympics starting July 23rd. However, many Japanese and medical experts oppose staging the Games as it could trigger a new wave of infections. Tokyo and some other regions are under a state of emergency to be lifted on June 20th. About 11% of Japanese have had at least one vaccine dose so far. And to reassure public, Tokyo 2020 organizers have banned foreign visitors. Visiting athletes and media crews will be monitored via GPS for the first 14 days of the stay to ensure they do not stray from their itineraries. And before we move on to our next segment, let's quickly take a look at fresh COVID-19 data as released by the Union Health Ministry a short while back. 94,052 new COVID cases were reported yesterday. 1,15,367 recoveries were recorded in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative total of recovered patients to 2,76,55,493. And with this, the recovery rate currently stands at 94.77%. India's total active caseload stands at over 11.67 lakh today. The country's present active caseload consists of 4.00% of the total positive cases. The fatality rate stands at 1.23%. Well, now let's move on to our next segment, which is Web News Review. Right, my colleague Rukma joins us for the Web News Review segment. Good morning, Rukma. Over to you.
Good morning, Abhishek. And should I move on to the web review?
Yeah. Please go on.
Well, yeah, right. Most websites are dominated by positive news and other information regarding vaccination and regarding COVID. So these are some of the few that I've selected, which I think maybe you have not incorporated into your bulletin. Money Control talks about how Bharat Biotech has said that it will be making phase 3 trial results public by June. Again, the Times of India talks about how the United States now has come up with this decision to donate over 500 million vaccines to 92 countries. Another bit of positive news there. But a US health body has said that if COVID trends continue, it could be years before the virus is controlled. And it says that considering that only 10% of Caribbean countries, for example, have been able to conduct their vaccination drives, only 10% of their population have been vaccinated or could be vaccinated with the resources that they have available. It is imperative for everybody to ensure that all the countries, all people of the entire world are vaccinated. Then another positive news back home: a Bengal doctor reunites with newborn after battle against COVID. Apparently, she had been hospitalized 10 days after she had delivered her baby. And so that's there are many such other positive news coming in. I just picked up one. Well, moving on quickly to my next slide. Well, there is a crisis in the Congress. after Jitin Prasada's exit, the Congress message for Sachin Pilot, the Congress now fighting on all fronts, encouraging Sachin Pilot, assuring him that his demands will be met. But well, the article also talks about how Sachin Pilot's demands, Sachin Pilot's grievances were never dealt with. When he had, said that he would also not be, leaving he was not content with what the party had given him, and so apparently, clearly, the Congress now worried after Jyotiraditya Scindia, now Jitin Prasada, and well, that Sachin Pilot may not be next. Again, in Punjab too, the Congress is fighting there. 5 Congress MPs meet Amarinder Singh, repose faith in his leadership. There's a lot of infighting there in the Punjab Congress as well, as the article says. And since elections are due in 2022, the Congress working hard there as well. Well, moving on from that political news from sports, it says how boxer Amit Panghal, Tokyo, his personal coach. So, well, as far as sports is concerned, we all know that it's now all about about the Olympics. As far as every branch of sports in India, and Amit Panghal, one of our stars, one of our great hopes. Well, this is what he has to say. Meanwhile, the hockey team is preparing full swing. It says that India preparing for Tokyo Games in full force. They said that this time they will be bringing back home a medal. And then moving on to my final pick of the day, it's about how there is the 2021's first solar eclipse is taking place today. However, it will be visible only in Arunachal Pradesh and Ladakh and nowhere else across India. That's sad, but that's all in my web review for the day.
All right, thank you so much, Rukma. Interesting stories that you took. Thank you so much. Right, let's move on to our next segment now, which is Sports Track. I will start with a French Open update. Rafael Nadal will face top seed Novak Djokovic in the French Open semi-finals after the Spanish 13-time champion outlasted Diego Schwartzman in a tricky battle in Paris. Nadal, bidding for a 14th Roland Garros title and record 21st major triumph, dropped his first set at the tournament since 2019, ending a run of 36 consecutive sets won in Paris by the Spanish third seed. And in Wednesday's match, Novak Djokovic won against Italian 9th seed Matteo Berrettini. Serbia's Djokovic faces Nadal in a rerun of last year's final on Friday. In women's now, Maria Sakkari ended defending champion Iga Swiatek's 11-match winning streak at the French Open and reached the semi-finals of a major tournament for the first time. 17th seed Sakkari used strong and steady baseline play to eliminate Swiatek 6-4, 6-4 and ensure that the clay court tournament will end with a new Grand Slam champion in women's section. An unseeded Barbora Krejcikova of the Czech Republic reached her first Grand Slam semi-finals at the French Open. Barbora defeated Coco Gauff 7-6, 6-3 in the quarter-final match. Gauff saved 5 match points but eventually fell short, ending a run after becoming the youngest American woman to make the last 8 in Paris since Jennifer Capriati in 1993. Right, from Sports Track now to our next segment, which is We Care. Level Crossing Awareness Day is being observed today. The day is observed on June 10th every year to create awareness about the dangers associated with railways level crossings. And in the past 7 years, the railways got the construction of rail over bridges and underpasses done on a large scale, which in fact helped in controlling and preventing the accidents. More in this report from our correspondent Rajesh Raj.
Indian Railways has always been trying to take precautions and prevent accidents at level crossing. To create awareness about the dangers associated with railway level crossings, the International Level Crossing Awareness Day organized on June 10 every year. Several campaigns and programs are organized on the occasion and make common people and motorists aware of the dangers at the level crossings. Earlier, accidents at unmanned railway gates were quite common. But if we look at the statistics of the Railway Board, the number of unmanned railway gates has become negligible on broad gauge, which can be seen as a big success of Indian Railways.
31 जनवरी 2019 तक हमारे पास करीब 8300 ऐसे मानव रहित संपार थे जिनको कि पूरा एलिमिनेट करके जीरो कर दिया गया। उसके बाद अभी हम लोगों का जो चल रहा है कि जो हमारे मैन्ड लेवल क्रॉसिंग्स हैं इनको भी काफ़ी तेजी से हम लोग एलिमिनेट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
To avoid accidents at railway crossing gates, Indian Railways is also appealing to the general public so that accidents can be prevented.
आप लेवल क्रॉसिंग जब भी पार करें तो पूरी सावधानी से पार करें। कभी अपने कान में ईयरफोन ना लगाएं, मोबाइल पे बात ना करें, है ना, म्यूजिक सिस्टम ना चलाएं। तो उस तरीके से उसके लिए उनको पैम्फलेट्स बांटे जाते हैं, पोस्टर्स लगाए जाते हैं जगह जगह अवेयरनेस के लिए, उनको काउंसलिंग की जाती है उनको वहाँ गेट्स के ऊपर। तो ये पूरा एक अभियान चलाया जाता है।
In the last 7 years, tireless efforts have been made by the Indian Railways to prevent and control accidents at level crossing gates. Many rail over bridges and underpasses have been successfully constructed during the last 7 years. In 2014, the number of rail over bridges was 2,260, while in 2021, this number has reached 3,660, which means a record of 1,400 rail over bridges have been built in 7 years. Similarly, 7,874 underpasses were also constructed during the past 7 years, which played a major role in preventing mishaps. Rajesh Raj's report, DD India, New Delhi.
Right, now let's take a look at today's weather forecast. Due to the strengthening of westerly winds along the west coast in association with low pressure area, widespread rainfall activity with heavy to very heavy falls likely to continue over coastal districts of Maharashtra during 10th to 15th June and likely over coastal Karnataka during 12th to 15th June. Isolated heavy rainfall is very likely over Kerala during 11th to 15th June. Isolated extremely heavy falls also very likely over Konkan during 12th to 15th June. Now let's take a look at minimum and maximum temperatures in different cities. Right, that's all we have in this segment, but remember to wear a face mask before you step out of your house. Unlocking might have started in some states, but it's very, very important to take extra care now. Follow the government guidelines and the COVID appropriate behavior. Stay safe. But before we end this breakfast show, we'll leave you with the glimpses of Moscow's Bolshoi Theatre, where artists came back to the stage for ballet contest Benoy de la Danse after more than a year of coronavirus lockdown. Have a look.